If you were born before 1959, I need you to stop what you're doing for the next few minutes, because there's a very real chance the government owes you around £4,300 a year, and nobody is ever going to knock on your door to tell you. No letter, no phone call, no knock. The money simply sits there, year after year, unclaimed. And right now, around 800,000 pensioners in this country are missing out on it. That's not a rumor. That's the Department for Work and Pensions' own figure. 800,000 households who are entitled to this money and never put their hand up for it. So the only question that matters today is a simple one. Are you one of them? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly 3 things. 1, whether this actually applies to you. 2, the single savings myth that wrongly stops thousands of people from claiming what's theirs. And 3, the one tiny payment, sometimes worth just a single pound a week, that quietly unlocks 7 other benefits worth thousands more on top. Miss any one of those 3, and you could leave a small fortune on the table. So please, don't skip ahead. Let me start by telling you plainly what we're talking about, because the name puts a lot of people off before they even look. It's called pension credit, and the moment some people hear the word credit, they assume it's a loan or a credit card or something they have to pay back. It is none of those things. Pension credit is extra money, yours to keep, tax-free, every single week, for as long as you're entitled to it. Here's how it works in plain English. If you're over state pension age, and if you were born before 1959, you certainly are, the government says you should have a certain minimum amount of money each week to live on. For 2026, that line is set at £238 a week if you're single, and £363 a week if you're a couple. If your income falls below that line, pension credit steps in and tops you up to it. So if you're single and bringing in, say, £210 a week, pension credit can lift you up to that 238. That gap, paid to you week after week, that's the money we're talking about. On average, it works out at around £4,300 a year. Now, keep that number in your mind, because in a moment, I'm going to show you why even people who don't think they qualify often do. And that brings us to the first big myth. This is the single biggest reason people talk themselves out of claiming, and it costs them thousands. I've lost count of how many times I've heard someone say, "Oh, I've got a bit put away in the bank, so I won't be eligible." And almost every time, they're wrong. Here's the truth the headlines never explain properly. The first £10,000 of your savings is ignored completely. It doesn't count at all. Not a penny of it affects your claim. And above that $10,000, it's still nothing like what people fear. For every £500 over that figure, the government counts it as just £1 a week of income. That's it. So if you've got £20,000 sitting in the bank, that's treated as only £20 a week, and there is no upper savings limit at all. Let me say that again because almost nobody knows it. There is no maximum savings figure that automatically disqualifies you. People with money in ISAs, people with a few thousand tucked away just in case, many of them still qualify, and they never find out because they assumed the door was closed. So if you've ever said to yourself, "I've got savings, it's not for me," I gently ask you to question that, because the rules are far kinder than they look. But savings aren't the only thing people get wrong. The next myth is even more common, and it's about the roof over your head. This one stops a huge number of homeowners in their tracks. They think, "I own my house, I'm not exactly poor, this can't be for me." Here's what they don't realize. The home you live in is ignored entirely when your pension credit is worked out. Its value simply isn't counted. Whether your house is worth £100,000 or $500,000, it makes no difference to whether you can claim. Think about that for a second. There are people sitting in homes they own outright, struggling with the heating bills, going without, convinced they're, quote, too well off to ask for help, when the one big asset they own is the very thing that doesn't count against them. If that's you, or someone you love, a parent, a neighbor, a friend who lives alone, this is exactly the kind of thing worth checking. Because pride stops more people from claiming than the rules ever do. Now, I promised you 3 things at the start. We've covered who it's for and the myths that hold people back. But here's the part that genuinely surprises people. The part I really want you to hear. So if you found this useful so far, do me one small favor and tap that subscribe button now. Because what I'm about to tell you is the bit that turns £4,000 into something far bigger. Here's something almost nobody understands about pension credit. It isn't just money in your pocket, it's a key. Even if you only qualify for a tiny amount, even if it's just £1 a week, that small award acts like a master key that unlocks a whole chain of other help. The benefits people call passported benefits. And this is where the real money is. Let me walk you through what that single pound can open up. First, your council tax. A pension credit award can get you a reduction, and in some cases it can cover the entire bill. That alone can be worth well over £1,000 a year. Second, if you're 75 or over, it can get you a free TV license. That's another 170 odd pounds every year gone from your outgoings. Third, the warm home discount on your electricity and cold weather payments when the temperature drops. Fourth, help with NHS costs, your dental treatment, your glasses, even travel to hospital appointments. And fifth, and this one really matters right now, it protects your winter fuel payment. With the new rules, pension credit shields that payment completely. Add all of that up, and these extras can be worth another £2,000 to £3,000 a year on top of the pension credit itself. So when I say £1 a week can be life-changing, I mean it literally. It's never just the pound, it's everything the pound unlocks. And there's one more trick on top of this, a way to increase your pension credit using a completely separate benefit. Let me show you. There's a benefit called Attendance Allowance. It's for people over state pension age who need a bit of help looking after themselves, and crucially, it is not means tested, so your savings and income make no difference to it at all. Now here's the clever part. Attendance allowance doesn't count as income for pension credit, so claiming it never reduces your pension credit by a single penny. But it gets better. Receiving attendance allowance can actually trigger an extra amount inside your pension credit, worth around £86 a week, and that extra amount can lift people who were just above the line into qualifying when they didn't before. So the two benefits don't compete. They work together. One can quietly open the door to the other, and almost nobody puts those two pieces together, which is exactly why I wanted you to hear it here. So how do you actually do this? It's far simpler than people expect. The Department for Work and Pensions says the average claim takes around 16 minutes. You can apply online at gov.uk or ... And this is what I'd suggest if you're not comfortable online. You can ring the pension credit claim line directly on 0800 99 1234. A real person walks you through it. You don't need to be an expert. You don't need a financial advisor. You just need to put your hand up. But here's the one thing I want to stress, and it's important. A pension credit claim can only be backdated by 3 months. That's it. Which means every single week you wait, you may be losing money you'll never get back. This isn't about pressure. It's just maths. The sooner you check, the more you keep. And if you're watching this thinking of someone else, a mom, a dad, a neighbor who lives alone and would never ask, please send them this video, or better still, sit with them and make that call together. It could be the most valuable 16 minutes of their year. So let's quickly bring it together. If you were born before 1959, you could be owed around £4,300 a year. Savings don't automatically rule you out. Owning your home doesn't rule you out. And even a tiny award unlocks thousands more in council tax help, a free TV license, heating support, and your winter fuel payment. Don't talk yourself out of it. Check. It takes 16 minutes and it could change your year. Now, there's one more thing I have to warn you about. Because the moment money like this starts moving, the scammers come out. And right now, there are fake DWP and HMRC messages targeting pensioners every single day. In my next video, I'll show you exactly how to spot one in 5 seconds. So it's already up on the screen now. Go and watch that one next before anyone tries it on you. I'm Edward Dedge, and remember, everything I share here is general information checked against gov.uk to help you keep more of what you've earned. It's not personal financial advice, so always confirm your own situation with the official line. Look after yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one.